Hey, we've been having a heartwarming time here on the nation's most bizarre do-it-yourself show. Heartwarming because we've had the country's lousiest amateur home renovators here in a hotel, turning regular rooms into honeymoon suites. Sexy.
The process has been highly educational.
I'm calling that the best in rehab.
But it's almost over.
Look at that. Simple and stupid.
This episode, every project in the rehab center will have to be completed.
I would need days to do it.
Because real honeymooners are coming to visit the suites and pass judgment.
Let's go look at some honeymoon suites.
All right.
What the?
When their judgment comes down,
We'll be handing out this trophy to the person most deserving of the title, Canada's worst handyman. If you recall back in our opening episode, we had the nominees for Canada's worst handyman build a workbench that would later be turned into something else. Well, now, it's time for that transformation to occur. The next challenge for our bad builders is to turn their workbench into a massage table. Stop it! Stop! Keep going.
the nominees for Canada's worst handyman are
6 inches.
Matt, a youth worker from Ottawa who was made a candidate by his buddy Corey.
Ready?
Trying to cut a face hole for his massage table,
Would a jigsaw be a better idea?
Matt thinks the saw blade will magically punch through the plywood. The next candidate is Unsafe Rob, brought to rehab by girlfriend Joanne.
Oops, sorry. I'm sorry.
Down the hall,
You don't want to have somebody lie on this, right?
No.
Charlene from Pickering, Ontario, might be the most unfocused nominee we've ever had.
We can't focus, it's obvious.
Charmaine brought her twin sister to rehab.
Experts are here to save the day for you.
Our experts, Jeff Woodmansey and Gail Prosser-Craig, often save the day for Charlene. Today, they're making her workbench strong enough to lie on.
I would lie on the table.
Then your work here is done.
Next, from Cambridge, Ontario, we have new dad, Dan, who got the Golden Heart hat as last episode's most improved handyman.
Got some antenna on it now.
Dan was brought to rehab by Natasha, his wife.
You might want to cut that a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Our final candidate
Holy smoke.
is Ajay, a small businessman from Strathmore, Alberta.
Did we screw this thing up already or not yet? Not yet.
Ajay was nominated as Canada's worst handyman by his wife, Prabjot, who still wishes he would stop rushing.
That's why I was taking time on the corners.
Ajay knows how to make a vinyl-covered massage table because he just sat through an upholstery class.
What we're going to be doing is pushing the material through the hole and stapling it to the back side of the plywood.
Pushing taut vinyl through a hole requires work gloves.
And this.
This is a heat gun that blows out air at 450 degrees Celsius.
I'm just heating up the material and stretching it. I'm working the whole thing, and I'm trying to pull as much material in as possible. If you guys want to stand up and have a look. Okay, so I'll take my knife now. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going to put a little hole in the middle, and then I can stretch it a little bit more.
After 10 minutes of slow heating, the stretchy vinyl gets stapled to the underside of the bench.
I think it's doable.
It's definitely doable. I'm doing it right now. You can see.
You can see a wrinkle-free face hole.
Face goes right in there.
Stretching vinyl is oddly satisfying.
Go!
In Dan's room, the work table is starting to take on the presence of a massage table.
Can you feel it starting to move?
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely feel it stretching.
This is where patience pays off.
After 10 minutes of stretching,
Ooh, that's hot.
Natasha successfully staples the vinyl. Something Dan can't do.
You missed. Go again. You missed. Yeah, you missed.
Oh, now.
Give me the stapler. Okay. Ugh.
Working together
Good.
is really working out.
Hey. I think this thing's done.
Dan and Natasha are ready for a massage.
Maybe I should give you kids some privacy.
Yeah, close the door on your way out there, Andrew. Let's...
Patience is the key. Patience is the key.
Unfortunately, Matt is so impatient, he's trying to stretch his vinyl
I want to do this right.
without having cut the foam underneath it.
You should have cut the foam first.
Should have cut a whole hole.
When the foam gets its hole, this slightly stretched vinyl can be grabbed by Matt down below.
Yeah, got it. Remember to heat it over there.
From the heat gun's perspective, Matt's hole looks pretty uninviting.
Come on, you little. Damn.
But from Matt's perspective, it must look pretty good.
It's gorgeous, man. That's awesome. Oh, God. That's what the
Matt fails this project, but he's glad he came to rehab.
In this short amount of time, I've been able to kind of take things home that I can transform my house, possibly.
I'm confused here now, totally confused right now.
Over in Ajay's room,
I'm gonna wreck this right now.
his hole is too big.
Prabjot, this is a problem now here. Right here is a problem. It's coming up.
And his vinyl isn't hot enough to stretch.
No! What the hell went wrong here? There we go.
This kind of mistake is why Prabjot brought Ajay to rehab.
No! There's a problem. Ah! This should work now. This staple.
It is nice, don't worry.
Ajay will be the judge of what's nice.
It's not nice.
It sure isn't. Learning vinyl upholstery, though, will pay Ajay dividends later.
Learning upholstery in rehab center will save me easily $1 grand because I need upholstery right away in my new restaurant. Thank you.
Rob is not quite patient enough for this project.
Oh, I see what you're doing. You're gonna make little slits and then you can grab it and staple it under, right?
Yeah.
Making slits is a fine thing to do,
Oh, it's.
Nope, watch it.
I know, it's tearing.
Okay, no. It's...
but first you need to have fully stretched the vinyl, which Rob hasn't done. If you find yourself pulling on little vinyl tails, stop! Remove the staples
Right here.
Right there?
Yeah.
You clear?
Yep.
and add more heat.
I think we it up, but we'll have to try and fix it.
We?
Trying to fix it without removing staples is a pointless exercise. Rob's table is a fail, but he thinks it's
Perfect. I think it's a pass.
Charlene is enjoying shooting staples, but she's nowhere close to getting this project finished.
Actually, ow.
Out of every day in rehab, how many challenges altogether have you managed to finish?
2?
Charlene might be Canada's worst handyman.
It's catching up. That's what's holding me back.
It's the fact that you're slow that's holding you back.
When we come back,
Oh, you. Oh!
the spa gets completed. En route to our announcement of this year's worst handyman. Here at the Canada's Worst Handyman Rehabilitation Centre, we have a brand new spa that our experts built for me to relax in.
Please, don't make me go out there. Because out there, the nominees for Canada's Worst Handyman are working on the spa that they've been building. And I just fear it'll be too stressful.
There's a lot of unfinished projects in this spa that need attention. And as today's wacky-hatted foreman, Dan has already assigned jobs. Dan himself is making the bottom level of an
Ugly.
unconventional reception desk.
Oh, that's terrible.
Rob is screwing up drywall.
Yep.
Charlene and Matt are working on the laminate floor.
Can we just duct tape that, or?
Ow.
And then there's Ajay.
Ow.
Ajay has been told to get water flowing onto the living wall.
Nobody is listening to me like that.
Guests are arriving at the spa in just 2.5 hours. So, our experts are in to help.
What a mess. Okay, let's get to work here. Let's get this floor done. I'm gonna help Matt on the floor.
Gail had me right from the get-go and owned me all the way home.
Hit it, Matt, hit it! Here.
I'm getting schooled.
While Charlene shifts on to painting a mural from a projected picture, Dan begins cutting formica to cover the top tier of his reception desk.
What the f do you use to cut these things, man?
You score it and snap it.
Score it and snap it.
Dan scores the formica so lightly, it won't snap cleanly.
No, you. Oh, you son of a. I hate this.
Now he's trying to score too deeply.
I dicked around for way too...
Finally, Dan's scoreline is deep enough. But to snap the sheet,
Come on, you son of
Dan needs help.
a. Flip it over. Did you oversize it or no?
The floor is finally done. So, Ajay is now piercing a tube of adhesive that he'll use to stick plastic baseboards to the wall.
This is good?
No, this is not good. It's too much. And worse, with every new piece,
Huh?
Ajay makes the same excessive mistake. And I do mean every piece. This is a disaster.
Good job.
How Ajay could think this is a good job, I have no idea.
The is again coming out.
With an hour until the guests arrive, Rob works on thresholds. Charlene finishes her mural, and Spa Chachka starts to arrive.
Stinky stuff, stuff in a bottle, rocks, candles, spoiler type devices.
The group challenges in rehab have been chaotic.
Can you fix this?
What?
And even though the quality of workmanship has been far from desirable,
That's fancy.
That's awful.
the can-do work ethic of this group
Good. There we are.
really has managed to get a lot accomplished.
Everybody, really great job today.
By finishing up this spa with, some of the worst handymen in the country, I realized that I can put together my own bathroom.
The spa is ready. And the first super critical guests are en route.
Please come this way.
Oh, this is nice.
It is nice.
Oh.
And it's nice for the folks who nominated Canada's Worst Handyman to see that their loved ones
You're loving it.
can make a sauna,
It's awesome.
lay a floor,
It's like a real spa.
and turn a room that looked like this into a spa that looks like this.
Less than $10,000, 22 hours worth of work. This is you and 4 friends for a weekend.
That's awesome. Yeah, good job.
For 22 hours worth of work, this spa gets the thumbs up.
Spa.
When we come back, the Canada's Worst Handyman nominees get down and dirty,
I don't know what the to do.
finishing every project they didn't complete in their honeymoon suites.
I hurt my brain.
Real newly engaged couples who are really looking for a place to stay on their honeymoon are really coming here. But the nominees for Canada's Worst Handyman have a lot of work to finish before the grand unveiling of their honeymoon suites. That much work, actually.
To-do list.
We've made to-do lists, and they have to be done in order before tomorrow afternoon.
What's the first thing on the list? Soundproofing.
The soundproof headboard originally confused Dan
Screw off.
because he couldn't cut correct angles.
I hate these. Just did the exact opposite position.
Why are you throwing?
Because I just it. That's why.
So why are you throwing?
Because I it.
The next task on everyone's list is finishing the mirrored ceiling project.
All right.
And then the tub drains need to be done.
So it's done.
It's done.
So tub drain is done?
Yep.
So let's test the tub drain. I get some water. Hang on one second.
Oh, the plumbing's not hooked up to the thing, though. Does that matter?
Yes, hooking it up matters. Ajay's main drain pipe has been hooked up to flow uphill. So,
Oh, don't break it.
Ajay is shortening his tub's drain pipes. Ajay applies a Herculean effort and thinks he's good.
Good.
It's not good. The main drain still flows uphill.
Yeah. So what you really want to do is bring it up here a little bit.
More up?
Well, sure, because it's got to go downhill to there.
Tub drain. Done.
Matt's next task is his screwed up towel rack.
I hate the towel rack. Oh, I hate this.
Dan came to rehab with handyman anger issues.
I can't see what's hell. Just like, how about everything doesn't suck balls?
Dan's irrational anger
Cop.
is still slowing him down. And
Oh, that's up, man.
Dan's anger still causes basic mistakes.
Oh, maybe it would help if I had a bit in.
In the basement,
Dude, I don't know what the to do. It's stupid.
Charlene's drain gets hooked up, but
I'm gonna bring this up.
she doesn't really know how it all happened.
We have success!
Yeah, there's no leaks at all. So is it done right? I'm confused. Did it go in the hole?
Ajay thinks his drain is finally done right.
Put the water!
Here we go, buddy. Here's the drain test.
Oh! Ah! Where did it leak from? Where did it leak from? Not from my joints.
The drain assembly is where Ajay's leak is coming from. It just needs to be tightened.
Ajay, I think you did it, buddy.
Yeah!
I don't know how to tell him that he's almost got it well, see? It's still dripping just a tiny bit. We won't tell him.
I want to dance. That's good. That's good.
When Matt's tub is fully tiled,
There we go.
he's the first person to begin grouting. Grout is the product that gets forced into the gaps between tiles.
That's awesome.
Rob
There. Nice and tight.
has been working like a bleeding robot. But if he doesn't make sure his room is free of any and all safety hazards,
Ow.
Rob may be named Canada's worst handyman. Angry Dan was making progress, but clearing his lumpy mortar away for grout and having to retrieve his badly mislaid spacers is chipping away so much time. Dan may be Canada's worst handyman. The tub in Charlene's room has been getting a lot of plumbing attention, and now Charlene is finally done.
So it's water time, is it?
I think so.
But the leaks don't lie. Charlene might be Canada's worst handyman.
I know.
In Ajay's room,
Rabjot!
Yeah.
he's doing jobs out of order,
Rabjot!
and the resulting work
This piece is
might make him Canada's worst handyman.
I'm the worst.
When we come back,
Oh, shit.
the honeymoon suites get finished,
I'm done.
and the real honeymooners arrive.
How do you like this for breakfast in bed?
If I were a dog.
In just 6 hours, real honeymooners will really be coming here to see if they want to book these real honeymoon suites being built by Canada's worst handymen.
When I heard that there was gonna be honeymooners here, I was like, oh my God, there's so much work to do, and I hope that we get it all done.
I'm gonna start on the grouting.
The to-do lists we made have grouting as the third last thing in the room to finalize.
Oh, if only these lines were level. If only I had done it properly.
Dan is getting his grout on.
I can't get it off, though. Me.
Rob is also at the grouting stage. But Ajay is grouting ahead of schedule.
It started looking good, Prabhu.
I know, Ajay. I'm so happy.
Ajay shouldn't be happy because he still doesn't have his cold water hooked up. Technically speaking, that puts him at the same slow pace as Charlene, the slowest person in rehab. Believes she's finally got her tub's plumbing ready for a water test.
Just turn it on. Just turn it on.
The water's not on for 2 seconds before...
Turn it off! Turn it off! Turn it off, Shemaine. Oh my God, it bust.
So, what was the problem there, do you think?
Too much heat?
Matt has finished his entire list.
The list is done.
You're done.
And now,
Awesome.
Matt is building a small stage.
There we are. Huh? Solid.
That he's trying to install a stripper pole on.
That's it.
A bit later, he's done.
Cool. Isn't that awesome? That's awesome.
Ajay thinks his suite is so awesome that honeymooners will pay
At least $400 a night.
And now he thinks
Prabjot!
that Prabjot
Prabjot!
will help him fix his clogged cold water line.
And I will need your help to pull me out too.
When the faucet is removed, Prabjot sees the problem.
Yeah, I think there is bread
So
inside.
take the bread out!
How?
How? Just suck it, eat it, whatever.
Prabjot's not doing that.
I don't know. I think we have to replace the tap.
We give Ajay a new tap,
Okay,
but it leads to philosophical questions.
how I end up here? I never thought about this. Canada's worst handyman.
You gonna use Teflon tape on that?
Why you make more harder for me things? Teflon tape, please! You know what the Teflon tape is even?
Is this?
Okay, this is a Teflon tape? No, this is not a Teflon tape.
Oh, the white small one. You.
See, that's my help. Mama, how did I end up here?
Ajay ended up here by doing his jobs out of sequence.
On it!
Okay.
Go! Oh, the water is coming like this tornado coming here.
With just 2 hours left before the honeymooners arrive, Ajay's plumbing finally works.
That's so good.
Nolly?
Nolly, pull me out! Pull me out! Too much potato. Oh, man! Now the tub will work.
Trying to cover the edge of his tub deck,
Off.
Dan is so tense.
Off.
He can't get it done.
No.
In Rob's room, the tub skirting is up and his excess plumbing is boxed in. With just 2 hours left before the honeymooners arrive, Charlene is plumbing her heart-shaped tub with a garden hose that she's trying to attach to her bathroom sink.
Tremaine, I'm doing it. If it works, then I don't give a if it looks like
Matt's room
Thank you. Awesome.
is starting to look like a sports bar.
Something like that. Awesome.
That's because when the bad builders get their lists checked off,
Comme ça?
they're receiving all of the personalized decorations they ordered.
Check.
The grouting is not done in Ajay's room, but he wants to check it off.
Ajay, look, this is ugly, Ajay.
Okay, now what?
Now, it's crunch time. Charlene is using her makeup mirror to check for leaks.
I think there's one little hole right there.
Dan is completely cracking up. And Matt is installing questionable mood lighting.
I think this is awesome.
For newlywed strippers.
With just 1 hour left before the honeymooners arrive, the Canada's Worst Handyman nominees are getting their projects cleaned up and finished off as fast as humanly possible.
Oh, that's terrible.
Lots of these last-minute mistakes are terrible.
Leave it.
But the worst mistake has to be what's about to be done by Dan.
Oh, what the happened here?
Corey, look outside the door. He spilled a can of paint, and he's vacuuming it up.
When we come back,
The whole sports theme is kind of not good with me.
the real honeymooners finally get to see the honeymoon suites.
Come here for a heart-shaped jacuzzi tub and it doesn't even work.
Here at Canada's Worst Honeymoon Suites and Spa, we've invited 3 newly engaged couples to check out our rooms and then help us decide who is Canada's worst handyman.
Can you bring a bed, please?
The pressure is on, and the work has reached a fevered pitch. Ajay's getting dangerous. Dan is getting disheartened.
I mean, I feel like I'm polishing a turd a bit right now.
And Charlene is getting to display her decorative talents. She's compensating for her handyman errors with a stapler and a bucket and a lot of uncleanable bling.
I want to get changed.
Right on schedule, our 3 newly engaged couples arrive.
Want to see some honeymoon suites?
Definitely.
Matt, you ready for some guests?
Yeah, come on in. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Welcome to my room.
How you doing?
So this room is a honeymoon suite for a man, ... and a woman.
Ladies, do you feel the enjoyment coming on in here?
Which part's for the ladies? The stripper pole?
It is.
Really, I think the poll is for Matt.
This is awesome.
As for the official challenges,
Are you feeling like you'd like to eat breakfast in bed off that?
No.
some of Matt's work is passable,
The tub's okay.
but some is not.
And what's happening with this wall here? It looks like it's falling apart.
It's falling apart.
When the tour of Matt's room is done,
Feels like it's gonna come out of the wall here. Whoa, we almost took it out of the wall.
the honeymooners pass their judgment.
What would you pay top dollar?
I wouldn't pay. If I go to a hotel, I want to go somewhere where I can feel like a princess, not like a piece of trash, to be honest with you.
Out of 10, Matt's room gets a 4.
The tub's nice, but tiles kind of look like a mess. I'd have to agree with a 4.
They didn't
like it.
They didn't like it.
Dan's sexy tack shack room is next to be inspected.
I thought Matt's room was bad, but
How do you like this for breakfast in bed?
If I were a dog.
What happened over there?
Part of the wall fell off.
Things are popping off the tub, too.
These are screwed till they split.
The caulking is drawing criticism,
My 10-year-old son can do better.
and the tub deck is so flimsy,
How does that feel? Does that feel safe?
No, one of the tiles just popped.
walking on it
Whoa. Yeah, you're gonna fall through there.
is making tiles crack off it.
There's one.
It's time to score Dan's room out of 10.
I'd say 3. Everything's falling apart.
I give it like a 2. Sorry.
It's terrible.
Based on the honeymooners' feedback, it sounds like I might be Canada's worst handyman.
Ajay might also be Canada's worst handyman.
How long do you think before this tub needs to be replaced, Anthony?
Right away.
The plumbing is the only thing that's done correctly.
It's coming apart.
How much were they charging for it?
400 in high season.
Whoa.
What would you give this room out of 10?
3?
Craftsmanship, I'm gonna have to say at least a 2.
Like right away, I like the look, but upon inspection, it's failed.
While we head to Rob's room, Charlene decides to abandon last-minute handiwork to see if she can impress the guests by renovating herself. In Rob's unsafe room, someone just got a splinter
From the table.
and Rob's tub deck looks like it's ready to splinter.
Whoa.
Ooh.
It's moving a lot.
Even with these flaws, though,
It is my favorite room so far.
Yeah, probably the best one I've seen so far, too.
I would agree with them. It has a better feel to it.
I think I'm rehabilitated.
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
in Charlene's room, she tries to be positive,
So it's all conveniently located.
but her bed has visible flaws,
Like when you're laying here, you can see how it
A
slants.
slight adjustment, that's okay.
Yeah.
and her breakfast table is a plank.
Would you want hot coffee in there?
No.
No.
The ladies would like something between the tub tiles, though.
What's it called?
No grout.
Grout. Yeah, there's no grout.
And there's no sense in having velvet around a tub.
Why?
It's gonna get wet.
That's all right.
It will dry out.
You can get a towel.
It's gonna soak it up and mold up
No, it won't mold up.
and get musty.
No, it won't.
Is your tub leaking?
Nope. Nope. I spent a lot of time because I ran into a lot of
So-
problems with the solder.
so why
Sorry,
was
let me
it-
speak. And then that's why the water is not coming out.
Would you stay in this room, Anthony?
Not really. Not with any running water.
Charlene's room gets a low score, but she gives herself a high score.
After rehab, my skill level is 8. 7. 7. To be honest, 7.
When asked to name the worst, our honeymooners choose the room with
No plumbing.
No plumbing, because I can't have a bath.
I would have to go with that, the no plumbing room, because you
Yeah.
have to have plumbing.
You're like, no plumbing, that's terrible, right?
Thank you very much. And I hope wherever you actually have your honeymoon, it's better than this place.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. Andre, yeah. Cheers. Damn.
Damn, man. Good time, good time, good time.
after the break. The experts conduct their final inspections.
There's plenty of deficiencies.
And we officially name Canada's worst handyman. After 15 days of rehab, none of the Canada's Worst Handyman nominees think they deserve this trophy.
I'm not the worst handyman.
No, I'm not Canada's worst handyman.
I'm not Canada's worst handyman.
I don't think I'm Canada's worst handyman.
Oh man, I really don't want to be Canada's worst handyman. That's going to be super embarrassing.
Our experts aren't embarrassed. This is the honeymoon suite they made with the same tools, materials, and time allowances. This honeymoon suite was made by Ajay, despite a whirlwind of mistakes.
At the start of rehab, I truly believed that you were going to be the most improved, and I must say that I am wrong.
This honeymoon suite was made by Matt, who learned to enjoy doing renovations.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a good point, is I thought, I'd come, hopefully learn a lot. Didn't think I'd find the enjoyment I do find out of it. It's awesome.
The work in Dan's honeymoon suite could not have been accomplished by him before he came to rehab.
I'm really happy with it. I mean, I feel like I learned a lot. First thing, obviously, was learning to be able to work with my wife. You know, I don't have to kick her out the house anymore.
Rob clearly learned a lot, but he's still a danger to himself.
That definitely, I know I still have to improve on.
More preparation, less scrambling, no injuries.
The final room to inspect is Charlene's suite that she is quite happy with.
You know, I learned a lot, and I think I did really well.
Jeff disagrees.
None of these projects would have gotten to this point without someone else's help.
Fair enough.
It's time to decide who is Canada's worst handyman for season 6.
Who do you have as the worst?
I've got Ajay as the worst. He rushed everything, and he's still rushing everything.
Gail agrees.
I have Ajay as my worst. He is a facade of success.
In rehab,
Done.
Ajay certainly did claim to be successful,
Done, baby.
even when his obvious failures
Done.
showed he wasn't close to being done.
Done. Done. I think we are done. It's done.
He would cut materials with no consideration of what the final product would be. Then he would have to redo it.
He puts up a good front. Upon closer inspection, it's a mess.
So, that's 2 votes for Ajay, which means this should be a done deal. But I don't buy it.
Let's be absolutely honest here. Compare Ajay to Charlene for me, and tell me why on earth you think Ajay is worse than Charlene.
Ajay's tiles are complete. Charlene's are not. Ajay's grout is done. Charlene's isn't. Ajay has plumbing. Charlene,
Turn off!
not so much. Ajay's breakfast table. Charlene's plank. Ajay did most of his own work,
Here we go.
and Charlene was constantly being helped.
We're gonna make ourselves a plan.
Yet the experts think Ajay is the worst?
You're actually going to, with a straight face, tell me that if you had a problem in your home and you were unavailable and only 2 people could show up to fix it, you'd pick Charlene over Ajay?
What is my problem?
Plumbing.
If I have a plumbing problem, I'm gonna call Ajay.
And if you have a carpentry problem, you're going to call Ajay or Charlene?
Just thinking about naming Charlene the worst seems to upset our experts.
It does upset me.
Why?
Because I think she learned more than Ajay did. And that's where the struggle comes in.
Ajay or Charlene? Charlene or Ajay? We do make a unanimous decision.
If they choose me, I will argue it.
I might be a Canada's worst handyman.
Really nervous.
While the bad handymen approach their fate, the folks who nominated them watch the proceedings on a live feed.
One of you 5 people will be going home this evening with this embarrassing trophy. I could prolong this agony, but let's just skip straight to the punch. Canada's worst handyman is... you, Charlene.
I knew it.
Charlene was named Canada's worst handyman for one simple reason.
Oh, this is gonna explode.
She is Canada's worst handyman.
Turn off!
I am Canada's worst handyman.
Charlene is Canada's worst handyman for season 6. But just barely.
You break it, we fix it, kinda.